What's going on, fellas? What's
Yo,
going
yo.
on?
What's up?
Man, religion. The topic that many people try to avoid, like the bubonic plague.
For
Uh,
sure.
man, what's your thoughts on religion, James?
Oh man, the first thing, like after studying, like I think religion is just an aspect of a people's culture. I think the culture of a people is supposed to be their religion. But today we've just kind of made it so dogmatic that we forget that this is a way of life. Like if you look at what people eat, how they dress, the music, their cosmology, um, the foods, the geography, all of that makes the culture. But then religion now, it just like codifies it, and to the point where now, it makes it very, I guess, more concrete and more rigid. But today is just we don't realize that um, we're not even like practicing the full religion of a people, right? Because we not many of us don't even eat what eat what they eat. We don't dress like how they dress. We don't speak the language they speak. Um, all we're just doing is taking the moral components of it, and we're not doing so many other aspects of it. So that's what I think. The culture of a people is supposed to be their religion. This
What's
is
the,
why when the Most High said, I'm going to take your heritage away from you in Jeremiah 17, I believe, right? He said the heritage for a reason. It wasn't religion, he said. He says heritage. Everything that makes you who you are, your identity, I'm taking that away from you.
what say for
Well
you,
said.
Alan?
Yeah, well said. I used to believe in so-called religion, but like my brother said, now I'm more so cultural and heritage based.
Yeah.
So for religion, I say run, evade, leave, ignore, get away, isolate yourself from it, oppose it, and just flat out no. Right? That's
Yeah.
if you hadn't caught on, I'm spelling the word religion. Right? So yeah, I don't subscribe to that anymore. I subscribe to culture. I subscribe to heritage now more than religion because a religion is just a systemic base. It's more like a systemic system that man puts together to accomplish a goal to get to God or to have fellowship with God. But we already know, as our heritage plainly puts in scriptures, like the Most High, He came down to us. He chose us, and He adopted us into His way. And it's not a religion. It's not a it's not a religion. It's more so culture, heritage, and inheritance. And I love that. Yeah.
There we go. That's a good word. Heritage to inheritance. Yes,
That's it.
that's what
Yeah.
it's supposed to be.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree with both of y'all, man. I don't rock with religion at all. I think that the whole thing is BS.
Yeah.
Like you said, evade, get set, battle, bounce, go as far away as possible because it's all BS, y'all. And I asked that question in context because we have a pretty good show for y'all. I think y'all see House of Lamar in the house, Johnny X Torpedo. We're gonna have a good one, y'all, because the topic of today is Seventh-day Adventists back to Eden. Back to Eden. If
Yeah.
anybody is aware of their philosophy, let's watch this quick video. It's gonna probably explain their mindset. Let's check this out.
The healthiest religion in the world is in America. Its followers live 10 years more than everybody else, and their prophet is a woman. This is their story. 200 years ago, Ellen White became a prophet and told her followers two things.
Jesus will come back. Prepare for him. And your body is a temple. Treat it with care.
This means You should go to church, but you should also stop drinking alcohol, stop smoking, stop eating meat, go vegetarian, sleep 8 hours, have friends, and rest for 24 hours every Saturday. All of this is part of the religion. 200 years later, it worked. The religion is called the Seventh-day Adventists, and its 20 million followers live longer than anyone in America. We don't need to join their religion, but we can copy them. Eat better, sleep better, and rest better. Let's make health part of our religion. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow.
All right. So, what's your immediate thoughts when y'all heard this? And let's, I know there's probably a lot of things we may agree or disagree with, but I guess to keep it within the topic of, going back to Eden in particular and their diet. Like, what are the first things that probably come to your mind when y'all seen this?
First thing that come to mind was, yeah, I agree. Yeah, let's go back to eating. Let's eat healthy. With that, I do agree with. Yeah, let's keep it healthy. Let's eat the things that the Most High prescribed for us to eat. However, I don't think we should keep it there. You know what I mean? I just think there could be more to that. And as we get into it, we can get into it more. But off the top, yeah, you can go back to eating. Yeah, that's healthy living. Yeah, go for it. A person that may need to cut back on the sweets, the sugars, the whatever. Yeah, eat healthy for a minute. Cleanse your body, detox your body. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely agree with those sentiments too. It's just like we should all eat healthy, right? Because that's the only way we can live a long life. Can we incorporate more veggies in our diets? Yes, for sure, we can. The only thing I would say is if that was forced on people, right? If it's forced on people, like, hey man, you gotta eat this back to Eden diet. It's a must. And if you don't, you're gonna burn in all eternity. If it's forced, then you've got a religion, like a dogmatic religion that's trying to bind you.
You James, honestly, I think you picked up exactly what I was trying to drop from the beginning of the live. And that's the reason why I was talking about religion. Like, you see, for me, when you look in the etymology of the word, religion means to bind. And one thing about religion is that when you start to impose rules, and structures, systems on people that, in the context, we're talking about the Bible, right? And Christianity, whatever.
Yeah.
The Bible itself didn't even impose these rules, but now you have these religious leaders impose that rule on you. That's when you have essentially entered religion.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, Jesus, that's exactly what he was contending with in his time, during his time, right? We had the religious leaders like the Pharisees, and what were they constantly saying? Like, oh, how come your apostles don't wash their hands, before they eat? And the thing about, here's the thing, right? Would we probably agree? I mean, I'm going to ask out that question, and anyone in chat. Do y'all agree that it probably is a good thing for you to wash your hands before you eat?
Yeah, for sure. For cleaning purposes. Yeah, but then now, what about the homeless? What do they have access to water?
Or just for me to even land my plane, what I'm trying to say is that, is it a command though? We could agree with it. I think it's good, but then the next thing I wanted to say is just show me a verse that says thou must wash your hands before you eat.
Yeah.
And then obviously the answer is no, right? You can't find it. And that to me is religion. So to your credit, James, and I'll give it to you, it's like there's nothing wrong with washing your hands. I'm not talking about washing my hands. I don't think there's anything wrong with eating vegetables
Yeah.
and being vegan if that's what you want to subscribe to. But when you impose that on people, like you said, James, and you make it like if you don't do this, now you finna burn, then that's why I take issue. I don't know what about y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know if SDA speak in that manner where, oh, you're sinning if you don't eat only vegetarian. I don't think they do that. But it's just like we have to understand context too, right? Because I know many people would use the argument that, oh, God gave Adam and Eve all the vegetation on the earth to eat, and he did not command them to eat meat, right? But they must understand context, because the reason why they were not able to eat meat because of a cataclysmic event that happened, and humanity was no longer in that pristine, nice garden with greenery. Now they're scattered everywhere.
You saying not allowed, or that's why they were allowed to eat meat?
I'm saying the eating meat is because of a cataclysmic event where humanity is no longer in this pristine garden with vegetation, but now they're out in all the four corners of the earth with different geographical locations and climatic realities. So it's not feasible for everyone to eat or just be vegetarian any longer.
Yeah. No, for sure. I like what you said. Different geographical locations. If we go up to the bitter cold, near, close to the northern pole, like that environment is not conducive to grow vegetables. I mean, there are some places in the world, bro, it's snowing and cold all year round.
Facts.
So if I keep the faith of Jesus Christ and I can't eat and I can't have access to fruits and vegetables, I mean, am I now doomed? Am I now slated for damnation? So I love what you said about the geographical locations. That makes sense.
Yeah. The Eskimos, you brought up a very good example. In the cold, in the tundra, there is barely vegetables there. They don't really grow trees, right? Like, is this, and their main source of food is fish.
Right.
They have to dig massive holes of ice and fish for salmon or for anchovies. Not anchovies, but whatever fish they can get. Even whale blubber, right? I mean, it's not according to the law, but still, that is their main source of food.
Yeah,
bro. I don't want to hear that. All I want to hear is LNG White. Ask the problem. And this is the thing, right? Ellen, and that's a whole nother topic too, like a female prophet. That's a whole nother discussion. But it's just like, I find it amazing because, again, right? Let's just go to scripture, right? Because one of the main arguments I've seen is that people from SDA, they'd be like, oh, well, that was not God's original plan. They love to throw that. Oh, in the Garden of Eden, before sin, they love to throw that. Before sin entered into the world, oh, we were eating only vegetables. And that sounds cute. It sounds...
Who's we? We wasn't there. Who's we?
It sounds cute. It sounds very logical when they throw those terms. And I think if you're a babe in the faith, you might hear that and you might be like, oh, that's a good point. Yeah, before sin, right? Because none of us as believers want to sin, right? So we want to kind of go back to that ideal standpoint. But let's throw the monkey wrench in there. Before sin, everybody was walking around naked too, right? I don't see us subscribing to that. I don't see everybody, oh, let's walk around naked now because that was before sin, right?
Good point.
These are the kind of things that, again, people, they could say, before sin, laws regarding homosexuality didn't exist neither. So let's put away everything that came after sin and only stick to what was the original, right? You see, like the thing about it, and I know James, we kind of spoke about this last time, like dispensation and how you don't like that word. But it's like I do believe that the idea exists because, like, surely in different time frames, the Most High had to. I forgot what the term you use, but it's almost like make a contingency plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, like because this is something that he didn't expect, or he knows everything, but
Right.
it's almost like when the Bible says, like, man has gotten so wicked. I didn't think that their imagination for evil was gonna be that great. Now I gotta wipe them out. Right? He didn't think that when he gave Adam Eve, how good she looked, nice voluptuous body. He didn't think that surely the man would resort to going to another man. And when he saw that, he just said, "Oh man, Moses, let's write this down too." You know what I'm saying? You got a contingency plan.
You
So
do.
what I'm saying is just like for us to be so narrow-minded and think that, oh, it's the original plan was only to eat vegetables and therefore, let's go back to the garden. Nah, I don't subscribe to that. It's not even logical. And I got more verses, but
Yeah.
what's your thoughts, man?
I was gonna say too, before sin, right? They say they're the healthiest. Now I wonder, are any of them taking any medications? Because they said herbs supposed to be for the service of man. So if any of them going to any physician, if any of them subscribe to any dentist, anything health related, if they're using that service, then this argument is null and void. So they say that health is okay. Now let's pull up the medical records. Let's pull up the medical records. Y'all prove that. Don't come here talking about before sin. So pull up the medical records. Let's see these herbs at work. These tinctures. Come on now.
Yeah, if they take one pill of vitamin C, this one, you're out of here.
Let me smell your breath.
Yeah, I know, right?
Better not smell that vitamin C. Hey, look, you guys, this is my thing, man. Like, what based on y'all, I guess rearing up, what have y'all always thought or were told Christians to be? Like, what was the definition?
I think we've all grew up. I don't want to speak for anybody, but it's just I think be Christ-like. Like if you're a Christian, it will always say, "What would Jesus do?" And then it's almost like the Old Testament was done away with, and now we just have to follow Christ in the New Testament. Really, that's how it was for me growing up, and that's how it was taught for many different denominations. Like almost everybody I encountered, like from even SDA to Baptist, Lutheran, Methodist, they all had the same message: just be like Christ. The only thing that made SDA more different is because they actually kept the laws, right? But when you're in Christianity, when you're like worshiping on Sunday, that part of your brain just shuts down and you're not even thinking. You're like, the law is done away with, get out of here.
Yeah.
But it's just when you get, my journey is just like when I got older, I'm like, oh man, SDA was right on this particular instance. Yeah.
Well, yeah, for me coming up, when I heard the word Christian, and y'all know my story, y'all, dad's a pastor, superintendent, grandpa had churches, so I come from that line of preachers. But I was just told Christians are just to be Christ-like, followers of Christ, people that read the Bible, believe in the Bible, people that go to church. We were fed religion, back to that word, we was fed religion, but we weren't fed scholarship, we wasn't fed self-autonomy, and it was just oblivious to the other worlds. I didn't start hearing about Muslims and SDA and Baptists like later on in life. Like, the only thing I knew was Christian, read the Bible, we go to church on Sunday, everything else is wrong.
And the reason why I had asked that though is because y'all pretty much said the same thing, and I concur. Be like Christ, followers of Christ, whatever, right? I guess the next segment I would like to touch is like, so let's talk about it. What do you think Christ's stance, Jesus Christ, his stance, Yeshua HaMashiach, what would be his stance on this topic? I'm very curious.
My
I got
son was feeding people fish and loaves.
you were talking about Christ was forcing people to sin.
Oh,
Oh man, that's crazy.
yeah. And this is the same Savior that said, I didn't come to destroy the law. I come to fulfill it. I come to show you how to do this thing. And you mean tell me he get opportunity to show the people how to follow Yah, and he 2 fish and 5 loaves? Why not 2 bananas, or why not 2 carrots?
Right, exactly.
What I mean? These folks need sustenance. They need, matter of fact, they was following him for 3 days. He said, hey, we gotta give the people something to eat, lest they faint in the way. So did he say grapes? No, he didn't say watermelon. No, give these folks some sustenance, some bread, some fish.
Yeah.
Hold them over, tie them over.
And his whole crewmates were fishermen, right?
Yeah.
A lot of it.
The whole crew.
A crew of sinners. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's so funny about what y'all saying, because like I have a verse here. I have several, but this was one verse that came to my mind where y'all know about the Passover, right? So check this out. Luke 22, verse 7 and 8. It says, then came the day of unleavened bread, when the Passover must be killed. Before I go any further, the Passover must be killed. What's that?
That's the lamb.
Last I checked was the lamb. Sure. Yeah.
It's the lamb, right? Next verse 8. And he sent Peter and John, saying, go and prepare us the Passover that we may eat. No, I'm sorry. That y'all may eat, but I'm going to eat vegetables.
No, I think it said we. You had it right the first time.
Nah, Jesus was just like, nah, I'm gonna eat the Garden of Eden diet, and you guys go ahead, get that lamb, the lamb chops.
You poor folk, y'all go eat the foul meat, and I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying, and I purposely asked the question: what does it mean to be Christian? Because what I found out is that by the definition, to be like Christ, followers of Christ, whatever, Christians are not even Christian. Christians are not even Christian. Because it's just like, yo, the dude is clearly eating meat. He ate fish. Or in this case, we showing you that Jesus literally told Peter to go kill the Passover so that we, the gang, like you said, the whole squad of fishermen can eat, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To eat lamb. So it's like at this point in time, what are we debating about?
Well, let's move to a period that's closer to the beginning. Let's dive into the life of Abraham. Remember the 3 men he saw in the distance coming? What did he order his son to go do?
Yeah.
This is homework.
Yeah.
You already know. So we see over before sin, after sin, and even in Yeshua's day.
Yeah.
The prophets. Come on, go ahead.
Piggybacking on what Alan said earlier, what about people in the desert? They got no vegetation either. Right. If you think up in the cold has no vegetation, have you seen some of these deserts, the Sahara Desert? Have you seen the deserts right here in America? It's just dry. Dry. So what do you expect them to eat? You see? So it's the goal is nice. The goal is nice, but it's not feasible for everybody everywhere. You see?
The same way the goal of washing your hands is nice. But as you said, what about the homeless person? So if a homeless person is literally grabbing onto your skirt, please, I need some food, and you give him food, are you gonna smack the food out of his hand and say, you better go wash your hands first before you eat? Is that what you're gonna do?
Yeah,
he's gonna grab that thing and eat it. Right? Because the man is hungry. This is what I'm saying. Like some folk, they don't think about the nuances of reality. Right? There's nuances. Like there's different geographical locations. There's different circumstances. Right? Why would we all love to talk about the goodness of the Most High. But how is such a gracious Father going to impose something like that where everybody must eat vegetarian. It's good. It's a good principle, but I
Sure.
don't think it's yeah. I'll go as far as to say this because look, I think there's even times where I would recommend going on a fast, maybe all vegan diet. You know what I'm saying, to kind of reset your
Yeah.
system. I think there are times where people could do that. I mean, SDA, they love quoting the three Hebrew boys. Oh,
Mhm.
and look at the diet that they ate, right? They only ate, what is it? The vegetation, while all the other servants ate, meat and all that stuff. Their skin was more clear and fair, and it's valid to an extent, right?
But
Yeah,
but don't you feel like the reason why these religions we have so much religions is because it seems like they cherry pick certain verses to create their own religion.
That's it. That's
Right?
it.
Yeah, because it's just like John the Baptist ate crickets.
Stop. Just stop. Just stop.
Yeah.
James, don't go that hard, bro.
Yeah.
Nah,
I mean,
don't-
it's kind of tough imagining to eat crickets myself, but he did eat it. So it's
Isn't
just
he-
like,
he said there was no greater prophet.
oh, yeah.
I'm starting to realize. I think Christ was like, maybe he defected. Maybe he didn't read his own book, or he's pushing a lot of this non-vegetarian diet stuff.
Yeah.
Yo, Christ
same
wanted
thing
that.
that
He wants you to eat that protein,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
get some gains.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, man.
So, I actually have another verse, y'all. Going back on Christ. This is coming by way of Luke 24, right? So this is after he died and now he's resurrected,
Mhm.
right? And remember, he kind of came in the image of a man and they didn't recognize him.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Look at what he did. 24 verse 41 to 43. And while they yet believed not for joy and wondered, he, Christ, said unto them, have ye here any meat? And they gave him a piece of broiled fish and of a honeycomb. And he took it and did eat before them.
Mm. So, damn, Christ loved his meat, bro. He liked that protein.
Yeah. What? How do you dispute that? How do you read that and still stick to only eat or only go back to eating?
Yeah, that's true. You can't reconcile that.
You
You
can't.
can't.
Now, if a person wants to use their free will, exercise their free will, and only eat back to eating, by all means do that.
Mhm.
But don't, like we said, don't take that element out of the word and mix it in your religion. Make these set of laws and guidelines and rules. Say, hey,
Yeah.
you have to abide by this, and if you go outside of this paradigm, now you're in danger of hellfire. Now you're in danger of judgment, and that should be so. And they're messing up so many people's minds and psyches. It's ridiculous. And then we have to get into the disputes, the debates on what you
Right.
can eat, what you cannot eat, when it's just simple.
Right.
As a matter of fact, in Acts chapter 10, he even told Peter, rise Peter, kill and eat. Remember that Acts chapter 10?
Yeah.
He had the vision of the white sheep
Yeah.
coming out with all the animals, and Peter was like, "Nah, I haven't eaten anything unclean since my
Yeah.
youth." And if we know the what the Torah says about clean and unclean foods, you'll know exactly what Peter was talking about. So he didn't say it wasn't a basket of fruits and vegetables. Why did he use different creatures? And then even at that, Peter's response was, "I've never eaten anything unclean." Now there aren't fruits and vegetables that the Most I said wasn't unclean. He said every fruit you see that bears seeds for vegetables is good for you. So why would Peter refer to something that's unclean? See, it's
yeah. And plus, what you said was key: rise and kill. You see, he didn't say rise and go pluck.
Harvest.
Right. You're right. Is this another thing too? Is this like you mentioned, Alan? You mentioned division, which is a good thing because it's just like we're like dividing, we're dividing ourselves into these small fragments because this person eats meat, this person is a vegetarian, and you
Yeah.
said endless debates, which is a
Endless.
very, we see it like, how is it that in their time they went through the same thing and now we're battling the same thing today? It shows that we haven't really grown. It's because it's just like, I shouldn't be, okay, if you guys want to be vegetarians, kudos, eat it, no problem. You know, I'm not going to condemn you.
Right.
And I'm certainly not going to condemn you if you want to eat beef or chicken or fish. Those things shouldn't be, like Apostle Paul keeps saying, a stumbling block,
Sure.
right? Those things shouldn't be a stumbling block, whether you eat vegetables or not. It's who you are, as long as we're all keeping the commandments. That's all that matters.
Sure.
Can I actually read a chapter for y'all? And I'm gonna read it. Please feel free to, I guess, stop me at any given time. All right, fellas.
Okay.
If anything points, and you in the chat as well, please, type in, chime in, however y'all see fit. But check this out: Romans 14, verse 1. Him that is weak in the faith receive ye, but not to doubtful disputations. For one believeth that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth herbs. Nobody got nothing to say? I'll keep going.
Yo. Is he calling SDA weak? Like, get your weight up. No, let me stop.
Hey, look, these are the kind of things, right? You said it, James. You said cherry pick. These are the kind of things where it's just like, I remember being being Christian and literally only being able to lean on certain parts of the Bible. You know what I'm saying? I could only call out certain parts of the Bible, and then there was almost like taboo verses that you didn't want to touch because you knew that it would dismantle your whole, Christian dogma.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. Is like sometimes the whole book it wasn't synonymous with one another because of all the religious rearing. But this thing, is it not clear? For one believer that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth her. Let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not, and let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth, for Yah have received him. And I think this is big because they said those who eat don't despise those who eat not. And I guess that would be us, right? Like we eat, so we shouldn't despise the SDA, right?
And nobody tearing down vegetarians. It's the other way around.
That's what I wanted to say. They said, let not them that eat not judge him that eat. Go ahead. And I see you burning. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know we're big on context, right? We're big on like just context. Now, I'm reading here in that same chapter. Behind the word weak, it means to be diseased, to be sick, to be feeble, impotent folks. Now, just put me in remembrance. What was the purpose in Genesis when God said he made herbs for the service of man? So in the Bible days, when physicians, when they would take care of people with, how would they heal people? With herbs? So if somebody is sickly, need to be healed, let them commit to a back to eating garden diet. An herbal diet, so they won't be weak. In the brotherhood, in the assembly. If there is someone amongst you in the assembly that may be weak, sick, or diseased, let them eat herbs. Let them eat. Go ahead. I just find that really amazing. Go ahead. Chime in.
No. House of Lamar says, my wife is vegan, I'm not. Brother, you are leading by example then. That's a perfect example. And I think this is the biggest part that I really want to dive into, because if I could kind of almost like show you guys the end before time. I think what's very disgusting about religion is that a lot of these religious sects they always want to paint themselves as if they are the bearers of truth and everybody else is beneath them and they somehow dirty and they need some type of saving. And
Mhm.
you haven't been religious myself. I think one thing that I've learned is that ain't nobody saving nobody. You're not saving nobody. You could
Mhm.
present them truth. The only person that's gonna be doing the saving is Yeshua, Yah himself. That's it. We ain't saving nobody. Even all the knowledge that you perceive yourself to have
Yeah.
is very minute in the grand scheme of things. So we all
Mhm.
need to actually humble ourselves, right?
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what happened, what you see is like when Paul said, beware the concision. Because what you will see is that a lot of these religions, they always want to latch on to one particular thing. Like, oh, I got this particular doctrine that's going to set me apart, and therefore I'm better than everybody else. When
Yeah.
in actuality, it's just like, no, you calm yourself down. You know in part, you prophesy in part. The Most High probably did reveal to the SDA maybe one aspect, maybe a couple of aspects that are true, right? Keep the Sabbath. I think that's true.
Yeah.
Maybe the vegan diet is good, is beneficial. Yeah, sure, it could be beneficial. But now when you take it overboard and then you start being essentially a cult, right?
Mhm.
All these people are wicked and we're the only ones that bear truth. It's like this us versus them. And many,
Mhm.
many religions do that. And it's just like, that's when you miss me, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why you've lost the truth that's in Christ Jesus. You get what I'm
I,
saying?
I will give SDA credit where credit is due because I feel like they're they're like the gateway kind of to understanding the laws of the Most High. Like if you're in a Christian church, like if you're in like Sunday, you worship on Sundays, right? I feel like SDA is that crossover, right? Because I know it was a crossover for me, right? Oh, I'm supposed to be keeping the Sabbath. Who keeps the Sabbath? Oh, yeah, there's a group called Seventh-day Adventists, and that was a step for me. But then it's just like I didn't get stuck there. It's just like I
Yeah.
kept on reading, kept on searching, and then I was like, okay, this is cool, but there's more.
Mhm.
There's more understanding. So then it's just like you get to another level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
And I think going back to House of Lamar, the reason I wanted to commend him is because if your wife is vegan but you're not, notice he's calling this woman his wife, right? It's not cause for separation. It's not cause
Mhm.
for concision or divorce, right? This is that person's conviction, or maybe that's they in a phase in their life where they want to commit to a particular diet.
Mhm.
Then by all means do it. There's
Yeah.
many
Mhm.
times my wife, she's not vegan, but there are many times where she has committed to a vegan diet. Like you said, Alan, maybe she wanted to get her health right, wanted to get her weight on point, whatever the case may
Mhm.
be. I've committed to a vegan diet. I just
Mhm.
know that, we could talk about the spiritual all day, but shit, I felt weak as hell. I'm just keeping a buck. Coming from benching, over 300, and then you go to that vegan diet, that shit gonna hit you. You go in a hurry. You're gonna be like, oh yeah.
Hey
Mhm.
man, you know what it is? Because you're not eating your grass all day. That's what it is. That's
Hey,
why you weak. You see them gorillas? You see them cows? How strong
Yeah.
they are? Because they eat grass all day long.
Yeah. Building up. I will say this too. I'm thinking about the whole back to eating thing, and they say they're the healthiest. Well, what are we basing that on? When we look at the culture here in the Western world, we're coming from a place of breakfast, lunch, dinner, midnight snack, supper, snack here, snack there.
Hmm.
It's a nation of people that eat. And the Bible, it says their bellies are their gods. So of
Hmm.
course you're going to see drastic change if someone just all of a sudden goes to fruits and vegetables. Why? Because there's so much built up crap in the system. It's going to need some a fasting from those type of foods.
Yeah.
Even when you read through the word, at least I don't see how we were eating meat every day like that. We know on the feet on the appointed times we were, celebrating eating meat, and sporadically, throughout the world we'll see, like we was talking about earlier, Yahshua eating the fish. Um, Can you imagine? Because we had livestock back then. So can y'all imagine going outside every day, killing a cow or a calf or a sheep or a lamb? How much meat is that, right?
Good point.
That's just, I don't think we were killing meat like that every day. I think we were eating the lentils, the fruits, the vegetables, things like that. And even at that, I still don't believe we were eating 3 times a day. Once, maybe twice.
That's very true.
And that adds to the longevity. So this whole back to eating thing is based on a diet that has gotten people sick, has gotten people unwell. And I think eating that way can, help people recover from said diet or said lifestyle previously. So,
hey, which one of y'all want to tackle this? Because Haslamar put something very interesting. There is an entire ministry in Israel that is based off of being vegan. My wife showed me one of their teachers that tried to imply that Moses was vegan. Oh my gosh. Who wants to tackle that? Moses was vegan?
Oh man, I don't ever recall Moses being vegan, because if he had to, the Passover lamb, I don't see how he was a vegan. And this was a yearly thing. Think about that. From 80 years old, and the Bible said he died 125. So that's a good, 90, 100, 110, 120, like 4 decades eating goat and lamb.
James. Go ahead.
Mind you, the Levites, they were sacrificing bullocks and they had to eat
daily.
So I don't know about that.
And Moses was a Levite.
Fact. Yeah, there we go. We go.
Y'all hear me out here now. In all humility, wasn't Moses the same guy that led the children of Israel out of Egypt, right? And at one time they were complaining, and then the same man that ran down manna and quail, right?
Oh, come on.
So, and also too, let's back up.
Every night. Every night.
This was every day, twice on 6 days. So even when we back up, this is the same man too that went up to the mountain, and I forget the verse where it says that he pretty much recorded everything that God told him. He got the blueprints for the sanctuary. He got the 10 commandments, and he also got other commandments, and everything on earth as it is in heaven, Moses brought down and taught the people. So why in the laws there are Levitical laws about clean and unclean foods? This, unless Moses said, you know what, let me add this. Oh, I think you should add this and that too. No, he didn't do that. So I don't know where that comes from.
Right. Like, wouldn't it be that easy? Like, if you don't want someone to do something, wouldn't you just say, don't do it?
Yeah.
Why is it? Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, we making this thing too hard. Like, we got to go into eisegesis, exegesis, we got to extrapolate and all these big terms. Bro, what did the Bible say? The Bible giving clear instructions that this is what you can eat. Who are we now to say, oh, but you got to understand, back to the garden? What does that even mean? Whoever said that? Whoever said that? Why are we going back to the garden?
Yeah.
Nah, we're not trying and that's not even a concept. Correct me if I'm wrong. I get it sounds cute. It's one of those things that they say it sounds cute. Go back to the garden because they implying, a state when sin was not there. But that's not even a concept that any of the prophets ever emphasized. Going back to the garden. No, we're trying to make it to the kingdom. There's no, there's going to be the tree of life there. But this idea going back to the garden, that's irrelevant. It's not even a concept that's promoted in the scriptures.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
I'm just a real quick caveat. It's amazing, James, Nick, how like all these, ministries, whoever they be, different flavors, whatever, when they promote the whole back to eating, they always forget about the relationship with Yah. The closeness that we walk through it with Yah, the indwelling of the Holy Spirit. They don't really hone in on that, how close and how intimate that relationship was with the Most High. I was like, okay, let's get back to eating. And a lot of the camps ministries don't even speak about that closeness and the intimacy of the Holy Spirit walking with y'all every day in the cool of the evening, in the morning. Yeah. I just wanted to point that out. It's always the natural. Eat this, wear this, say this. His name ain't Jesus. It's Yehoshua, Yahweh, Yahweh. Endless names, right? Whatever. And I'm not knocking. That's your, that's where you're at in your faith. That's where you're at in your faith. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just simply saying there's so much emphasis on the external, like getting back to eating. Okay, now let's get back to eating, but are you still walking with Christ? Are you still walking with Yah? Are you still treating your brother right? Are you still loving? I just wanted to throw that in there real quick.
That's the main part, really. It's not even the food, it's how we treat each other. Yeah.
Because we can go back to eating, I treat you like crap. I ain't getting in the kingdom.
Exactly. Somebody would just, eat finger licking good chicken and then just slap you. That's like,
yo. Huff Lamar's on it today. He's posting some good verses. He's saying that 1 Timothy 4 verse 3, saying forbidden to marry. Now, if in context, this was like an end time spirits. If you read, I think started from verse 1, but verse 3, forbidden to marry and commanded to abstain from meats which Yah have created to receive with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. And what is the truth? That law is the truth, right? So this is the kind of things that when you start understanding it in context, you start realizing like, yeah, it's an end time spirit. These people that literally are telling you that you can't eat meat. Like where is that? Good verse, bro. He also mentioned there's also people who think that because we can't do things strictly to the T, like we did in the days of old, that we aren't doing them correctly, and that they don't count. Oh man, I've heard that.
Yeah. What y'all should say, anything that's not of faith is of what? Sin.
That's it. And I'm glad you said that, Alan, because if we may, I want to continue with that passage we'll read it. And again, if you guys please interject if you guys want to add something. Romans 14. And I jumped down a bit. But I wanted to say stuff from verse 8. And it says, for whether we live unto Yahweh, and whether we die unto Yahweh. Whether we live therefore or die, we are Yahweh's. For this end Christ both died and rose and revived, that he might be the master both of the dead and the living. But why dost thou judge thy brother? This is actually interesting because I've heard many Christians employ that, and I'm not gonna lie, I've actually gotten on them because they're like, who can judge me? I've gotten on them. But if you read this verse though, I mean it's kind of saying it. It's like, but why does thou judge thy brother, or why does thou set at naught thy brother? For we shall all stand before the judgment seat of Christ. For it is written, as I live, saith the Master, every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess to Yah. So then every one of us shall give an account of himself to Yah. Which I could break that down. I've saw many people abuse that verse, obey those that have the rule over you because they're going to make an account for your soul and all this stuff. But this thing is saying that you're going to give an account for yourself. Ain't nobody giving an account for yourself. But anyway, that's a different topic.
But this is why I kept on. This is why now I start to believe that if we are a nation of priesthood and the commandments is written in our hearts, that means all of us were supposed to be equals in that sense, right? Because the idea of Moses is because the people didn't understand who they were. They didn't understand the Most High God. They didn't understand what it meant to be righteous living, right? And once Moses left, you had Joshua who fought wars. After Joshua, you had judges. But these judges was they're like teachers almost, right? You see, they're like, okay, they judge the people, make sure they're in order, but then you still have to keep the commandments for yourself, right? It's just like, one thing that the Christians believe that it never made sense to me when I was younger is this, okay, Christ came to fulfill the law. How can he fulfill the law for us? because we still got to keep it. We still got to fulfill it ourselves. You see?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like Christ can't fulfill "Thou shalt not kill" for me, and if I kill, how does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
If I steal, how did Christ fulfill that for me? I stole. You see, it doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, if we're going to be judged for our own actions, then it would make sense that we need to keep the laws for ourselves. So this would makes better sense why we are a nation of priesthood. Everybody is supposed to be a priest in their homes, in the streets, act priestly, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because the laws is our righteousness. So
Yeah,
that's
good.
If continuing to verse 13, it says, "Let us not therefore judge one another anymore, but judge this rather, that no man put a stumbling block or an occasion to fall in his brother's way." And I want to I wanted to put this in there because I know it may come across as we being harsh on SDA, but I do want to add a little bit of like a lifeline for them, because a lot of times I don't want to dish out the same level of hate that maybe the SDA may be throwing at other people, where they're trying to create this division as if they're better. But I think if we are strong in knowing that we can eat all things, you know, let's not put a stumbling block or an occasion to fall in their way. So, like, at least the way I interpret it, and I'll go to y'all, but like, I guess I interpret it as, like, I'll give you a perfect example. I remember when I first came to the truth, I was with a girl at the time. And, you know, even though this is probably not the best example, but this girl was eating shrimp, right? And I was telling her, like, yo, you can't eat shrimp, da da da, because, you know, it's unclean.
Mm-hmm.
This woman literally smiled in my face, eating shrimp sticking in between her teeth, laughing. And I was just like, and I remember being so disgusted. But
Yeah.
why am I saying that? Because I could just think about maybe like to the weak individual. Imagine if we did that, right? Like in this case, we're befriending the SDA and we here eating meat right in front of their face and laughing, haha. You get what I'm saying? I could see how that could be a turnoff and maybe pushing them away. But what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. I like what you said about stumbling blocks. You say you put a stumbling block. That's a premeditated action, right? Now, last I looked, the word stumbling block does mean like to purposely, to viciously, to want you desire to cause harm. Now,
yes.
because like you said so beautifully earlier, we are supposed to be, and we are the kings and priests to the nations, right? So we're supposed to go out and teach and do things like that. Now, with our words, sometimes we're going to say things that people may not want to hear. That's not us putting a stumbling block in front of them. That's us preaching and teaching the word. That's presenting the word. But like you said, we purposely go out there and make up doctrine. If we purposely go out there and make up these ideologies that cause people to sin, that cause people to be condemned in their minds, then yes, that's a stumbling block. And even in the Torah, it say don't even put stumbling blocks in front of the blind. Don't put stumbling blocks in front of the deaf. Now, who are the deaf now? Yes, we're talking physical, and also too those that are blind here with the spiritual eyes, and those that don't have the ears to hear. So we're supposed to be dealing compassionately, tactfully, wisely with other people that may not know this level of truth. And in that, still being compassionate, still being the light of Yahshua that spreads, in the earth. And we, like it said, we are the light. So we're not supposed to hide the word under a bushel or hide ourselves under a bushel. No, what we're doing now, this is us being a light. And someone may not hear it, but that's not a stumbling block. We're not out here purposely putting stumbling blocks, in front of people, but we're just here to admonish. We're here to encourage and exhort. And we're not. And one more thing too, even about the judge, it said, don't judge your brother. Like our intent is never to, and we already know what the word to judge means. Like you hear a matter and you pass a sentence upon that brother. Like we're not supposed to be out here passing sentences. Christ said, if you do that, okay. If you do judge, make sure you judge righteously. Don't have a matter with a brother, in this case, food or whatever the case is, and just sentence him to death, sentence him to condemnation. No, just okay. Let me hear it. Okay, brother, consider this. Love me, and point me in the right direction. Don't just condemn my soul to hell, and I ain't got no hope. I'm living a life of despair and hopelessness now because I accidentally ate a piece of beef. No, that's not so. That's not the
I'm glad you made that clarification, because you're right. That stumbling block is something that causes people to purposely fall over, right? And this is why the Most High, I really appreciate that verse. Don't add or remove from the text, because once you add and once you remove, you do create a stumbling block. And this is how we fall into religion.
Right.
That's exactly how you fall into religion. People, oh, you can't drink. It doesn't say that in the Bible, right? And I understand not drinking is beneficial, but you can't say people can't drink. Maybe you can say people can't get drunk. That's a difference. That's a difference, right? So it's teaching you moderation.
Yeah.
You see, it's like, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say the same way there should be moderation with meat. Like just because we eat it, I don't think we should be indulging ourselves in just a bunch of parts.
That's
right. Right. It's just like the stumbling block is like one of those when you add or when you remove. This is when you begin to lie. This is like that serpent, that subtle serpent.
Just a little bit of change.
Just a little bit of change, And then, we messed up. So it's just like we have to be careful, okay, this is what the Most High said, so we're gonna stick to what the Most High said and nothing else, nobody else.
Right. Look at the love of Yah. He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. And in Deuteronomy, he says, hey, if you do this, you have blessings. If you do this, these things you have curses. So you choose. He gave the benefits of obeying and he gave the benefits of not obeying. And even at that, he still said, okay, you choose. Now, even with the Garden of Eden, let's say the fruits and vegetables and back to Eden diet has all these benefits, right? And has a few, and not eating and not doing the back to Eden the Garden of, y'all know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Back to Eden. Back to Eden diet.
And if you don't do that, it has X, Y, and Z, right? Offer people the choice. And I know there's a movement about I'll go here. There's a movement with like melanated people saying our original diet should be fruits and vegetables, right? And if we don't, then we're harming ourselves. I don't argue with the science of it, but I'll just go back to what we said. Don't make it a religion and don't cause people to have stumbling blocks, right? Don't make it seem like if we do, now we're just brute beasts and we're condemned and things like that. Present the science. The science is good. I'm all for science and facts and truth, because Yeshua said I'm the truth. So if it's the truth, I'm going to agree with it. However, just let's not condemn each other, you know what I mean? And just let's continue to reach and teach one another in love and righteousness.
Yeah, them hoteps be exaggerating a lot, them hoteps, they be exaggerating a lot. Like last time I checked, them Africans, they be tearing their meat up. Like, I've eaten African food. I've went to an African restaurant. They be eating fish, some goat, some chicken. Jollof rice and goat.
Who you speaking to, James? Don't talk about Africa when it comes to Ireland. Ireland is from the source.
Hey, man. Hey, now.
You see? So, I mean, you already know. You already what's that? A goosey soup with the fish?
Like
so these hotels that be saying, oh, our original diet. What?
Yeah.
Going back, right? It says 14, I know and am persuaded by the Master Jesus that there is nothing unclean of itself, but to him that esteemeth anything to be unclean, to him it is unclean. But if thy brother be grieved with thy meat, now walkest thou not charitably. Destroy not him with thy meat for whom Christ died. And I think that's just like Yah said, right? Like Christ at the end of the day sacrificed himself for both those who eat freely and those who want to commit themselves to veganism. right? Veganism. And are we now going to use our liberty to trample upon their faith? And also too, because another thing too, these verses, even though it's clear that they're regarding these people as weak, I don't think we should be weaponizing even that against them. Like, oh, my brother, you weak because of, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's a wisdom that we need to have where maybe, I don't know if I even have the wisdom for it. I just guess maybe over time they go through their journey, they'll learn that they can eat all things. But I don't think it's gonna kill us if I'm in the environment with a bunch of vegans, and I'm like, all right, sure, eating a vegetarian meal is not gonna kill me. You know what I'm saying? I don't gotta commit myself to this diet, but sure, if it's just the fellowship, all right, cool. You know what I mean? And no, go ahead. You have something, Jim?
I was just gonna say, context really does matter in this, right? Because the goal is try to live as long as possible. I think some people need to understand that. Okay, let's take Japan for instance, right? There's a group that has lived the longest for a long time. I think the life expectancy for them can reach up to like 90. Like they're some of the longest living people. You have another group in Africa. I forget what they're called, but they live very minimal lives and they have longevity, right? I think it's I forget what it's called, but I bring that up to say is that a lot of people that live the longest is because they're naturally adapted to their environment and they don't deviate necessarily from what their ancestors ate. They eat directly from the soil where the food is alive and the food is real and there's no chemical processing in these foods. You see? So today we live in America where they pump up Lord knows what into these foods, right? Like we talking about GMO foods, bioengineered foods. So it's not necessarily it's not the foods themselves. It's how the foods are prepared. Who's preparing it? Who's is it natural? Right? It's because remember the Most High said not to mix seed either. But these guys are mixing seed all day long. They're creating bananas and tomatoes together. They put in, crazy stuff. So we here in America, there's a lot of preservatives that even Europe bans that we don't ban here. There's a lot of chemicals that the world has banned, but here in America, they don't ban it. So it's like what I'm trying to say is that it's not the food, it's the quality of food. It's the quality of food and whatever that you're eating.
I can second that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Verse 16, it says, let not then your good be evil spoken of. For the kingdom of Yah is not meat and drink, but righteousness and peace and joy in the Holy Spirit. Let us therefore follow after the things which make for peace, and things wherewith one may edify another. For meat destroy not the work of Yah. That's clear to me. Meat destroy not the work of Yah. All things indeed are pure, but it is evil for a man who eateth with offense. It is good neither to eat flesh, nor to drink wine, nor anything whereby thy brother stumbleth, or is offended, or is made weak. Hast thou faith? And I think this is what I really want to hone in on. Hast thou faith? Have it to thyself before Yah. Happy is he that condemneth not himself in the thing which is allowed.
Come on.
And he that doubteth is damned, if he eat because he eateth not of faith. For whatsoever is not of faith is sin. And I think I really wanted to hone in on that because I think what it is, it's a matter of conviction at the end of the day, right? Like if conviction is telling you that you need to be a vegan, then by all means be a vegan. You get what I'm saying? I think, again, though, has thou faith? Keep it to yourself. Don't be trying to impose your convictions on other people. Trying to, and also doing it in such a way where you're condemning people and making it seem as if they somehow wicked and they deceived and they operating in sin. Like sin, according to the Bible, is very concrete. It's transgression of the law. And if you have no law to prove that they operated in sin, then don't call it a sin.
But
Right?
hold on. Faith by itself saves.
No.
Right?
But I'm glad you mentioned that. Like faith is different from the commandments. It's fundamentally different from the commandments.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
see? And
Go ahead.
Alan brought that up too earlier when he said, like, it's the righteousness that you do, loving your brother. He did mention that too.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I think what is it? Let me go back to the verse so I don't debacle it. What it says, let us therefore follow after the things which make for peace, and things wherewith one may edify another. You see, like that is the thing. And even going before that, it said, for the kingdom of Yah is not meat and drink, but righteousness and peace and joy in the Holy Spirit. So it's like, what are the things that we even esteeming? Like, and I don't know which one of you, it was Alan actually. I think you mentioned earlier that it's amazing that some of these people that latch onto certain doctrines, it's like they put more emphasis on that particular thing than Yah himself. Like the things that we ought to put focus on, like the joy, peace, the fruits of the Spirit. It's amazing how those things are not even talked about, but we want to talk about, we're going to hold on so deep onto a diet. You know what I'm saying? As if that's what the kingdom is about. Holding so deep onto polygyny, as if that's what the kingdom is about.
Yeah.
Holding so deep to race, as if that's what the kingdom is about. Like these things, are they good to know? Yes, they're good to know. But let us be balanced in how we, preach the gospel so that we could, you know what I'm saying?
Especially, I was gonna say real quick, especially I don't know if you're trying to end, but I know especially because if we think about it just in context, it's like the argument is over something that we put in our body and our body don't even keep it. It goes out the draw. So what am I saying? It's not the things that Jesus said that we put in the mouth that defiles. It's things that come out. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Yeah. You'll know them by their fruit, right? So they put emphasis on food. Yeah, the flesh is never satisfied. You're gonna eat that food and it's gonna go out of the drought. So what long term, and actually the body does better even without food. Fast. Go on an extended fast. And I'm not advocating, this is not medical advice, just putting that caveat out there. But go on an extended fast. The body does so much better without food anyway. There are people, I don't know if y'all know about these, they call themselves breatharians. I don't know if y'all heard that term before.
Yep, I've heard it.
Yep, I don't know. I never heard of this one.
These people literally live off air, bro. They build up to a point to where they don't need food. And they just literally they may eat like once every so many months.
So you're telling me
breatharians.
Wow.
So Alan, you telling me they didn't even go back to the Garden of Eden? They went back to heaven, guys? Oh man, that's crazy. Straight Ruach HaKodesh. That's what it is. Straight Ruach.
This is real.
This is real. Yeah, look it up.
Yeah, breatharians. Yeah, they're real.
Breatharians. This is one guy in particular. He's a dark-skinned cat. I mean, he got muscles, he toned, got energy, vitality, all that.
Yeah.
He worked up to it though. But he like I don't know his threshold now. Yep, that guy right there.
I need that. I need to go back to the spirit diet.
Back to the spirit. What? Breatharian. It say a breatharian or an Edia practitioner is someone who claims to live on prana, life, and instead of food, often consuming only liquids like water, juice, or tea. A pseudoscientific practice strongly discouraged by medical professionals due to risk of starvation, dehydration, and organ failure. Wow, this is crazy. So people, but there's always some new thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, but I don't know if you guys have more, but I think I don't know. I think when we really conclude the whole thing, I just don't see no biblical found, like no found, no. What am I looking for? It's not biblically sound for
Yeah,
people
there's
to
no foundation
conclude.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, for people to conclude that we need to go back to Eden and have that type of diet. Like, I mean, we went literally from Moshe to Jesus himself, and literally all these dudes were eating meat. I don't understand. Even after Jesus, we even talking about Paul, right? Still
Even
advocating for even meat. So it's just like I don't see it. And Paul himself, I think there was a feast where he said, "I must go to that feast." Like he said, "I gotta go to that feast." So it's just like I don't see it. But I don't know if you guys have any
And one thing too, I notice the Most High love the smell of meat.
a sweet
Have you
savor.
noticed? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, a sweet savor. He didn't say, "Hey, roast me some vegetables. I want to smell that." He's like, "Nah." He didn't say that. He's like, "I want to smell that bullock."
Have you
That's
guys
true.
noticed it was always fried too? He said mingled with flour and
Yep,
oil, and then you got it was fried chicken. I
right.
won't
Yeah,
say chicken, but it was fried for sure. And you need to add that flour in there.
yeah.
That aroma go up. I
Yeah.
mean, hey, yeah, nah. Any last words from y'all though? On the topic.
I'll just
Nah,
leave with,
man.
like I said, just don't eat meat sacrificed to idols. Now, like you just read the verse, bro. If you got faith, keep it to yourself, and don't condemn others that do, and don't condemn yourself for that.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. With that being said, y'all, it was fun here having you guys on the live with us. With
Yeah.
that being said, if you like the video, please like, subscribe, comment down below, do all that YouTube stuff. It does help the channel out. And please send it to somebody. Maybe there's somebody out there that needs to hear this message so that they could be free, so that they won't condemn themselves in their mind, but they can walk in the liberty that Yeshua actually had given them.
Yeah.
Be free to eat whatever.
Send it to the SDAs.
Yeah. And for the SDAs out there, if you guys got a rebuttal, hey, by all means, tag us, let us know. Let's have a civil discourse. We don't gotta be attacking one another. Let's have a civil discourse so that we could, yeah, so that the whole body could be edified. Yeah. But with that being said, Nick, James, Allen, over and out. Jesus is King, y'all. Shalom.
Subscribe.